I worked in B2B sales for 5 plus years, sitting in front of C-level executives in the biggest Swiss companies in the world, right? Is that not a confident man?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but because I'm not, hey, jump, da, 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 she thinks I'm weak. And this is the way a lot of black Western women date. I'm not trying to make this about black
But
black.
that's true. That is true. That
This
is
is
how they
true.
date. And that is also what has made thrown these guys off when it comes to the whole concept of what masculinity should be, right?
Exactly. So I see you. And when you were listing all those things, I was happy because that is what it is. A man who is present, a man who is, taking responsibility, taking care of his responsibility, and a man who is, who shares his thoughts without screaming. That's what a man is. I feel like
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
young black men, we have a warped understanding. We think that if a man is quiet and reserved and thoughtful, he's weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
If a
Well,
man is
that's the thing
loud,
is
yeah.
their misunderstanding of this is also how their societies are constructed. There's no man to show them. So a
Yes.
lot of them have to learn and figure it out by themselves. I grew up with my dad till his death, bro.
Mhm.
So I saw how that man moved. I saw how he ran businesses. I saw how he conducted himself. And I can point to all the steps of things he did to raise me,
Yeah.
and I'm doing it almost identical, if not better, than what I am doing for my children. Right. So the fact that somebody that doesn't have any responsibilities can sit there and tell you about masculinity is stupid to me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
got no responsibilities. You're not taking care of anybody, anything. You don't pay no fucking school fees. You don't, sorry for swearing. You don't
Uh,
even know what daycare costs. You don't know what school fees cost. You've never changed a diaper or changed school uniforms. You've never cleaned your children. You've never dealt with a sick child. Like, you're not living the experience that you're supposed to live as a man.
yeah.
What do you know about masculinity? What are you talking about?
Just to add to what you said, a lot of the young men, including white men and other groups of men, and I'm actually curious to see if you're going to make a video on this because I think you should. A lot of these men are being raised by these red pill
Yep.
content creators, if I can even call them that, the Andrew Tates, the Fresh and Fits, and other smaller channels out there who these are losers. And it's not even
Yeah.
about the money. It's not about the money. Because a lot of these red pill followers, they always, oh, but he's rich. It's not about the money. It's not about the money. It's about the character of the man, right? It's about the character. A lot of these red pill guys are losers. They are
They are.
losers. They are
They are.
losers. I'm telling you, they hate women.
That's why they hate women. They hate women. They don't have an understanding of women,
Mhm.
and they've never been able to hold relationships themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a
And
reason for that.
there's absolutely a reason for that. And if you watch the content, a lot of these guys, you can tell they hate women from the way they title their videos, the way they speak on women. I'm like, bro, what kind of how do you expect to do well with women and have a good relationship when you are making it like one versus one, like me versus you? If you look at the titles that dominates red pill content creators. Oh, modern woman gets humbled. What
Hmm.
modern woman gets put in her place. I'm like, bro, relax, man. Have you ever gotten a hug from a woman? And I say this to women, I say this to these guys. I'm like, look, if you're a man who has had good experiences with women, you cannot become a red pillar.
No, you cannot.
You just can't.
No,
You
no, you
can't.
cannot.
It
That's why
doesn't
they are
matter.
losers. No, you
That's
cannot.
why they are losers now.
No,
Because
you
for me
cannot.
now, personally, I will speak from my experience. I grew up with a lovely mother who I love dearly, right? I grew up with a sister. I have a second mother, another auntie that raised me. I call her my second mom, right? I have from birth even till when I was in my teenage years, I've always had girls and women gravitate towards me for advice, for perspective, even till now, right? I have always asked him, even my neighbors, she always asks me, Kingsley, what are you doing? She brings me food. She takes care of me. And I take care of them as well. Because like, how can I then start putting out this kind of content? So when I hear these guys talk, I'm like, this guy clearly never had good experiences with women,
Yep.
typically from childhood, maybe his mom or something was not in his life or something. I don't know. Something clearly broke. You
Bro,
know,
some of them it's as little as a girl in high school said no. For most of them, it's a chick in high school, bro. I'm telling you. Like I used to react to their stuff in the early stages.
yeah,
Then I knew there was something off with them. Like, after like I've watched 10, 15 reaction videos of them, I was like, these guys don't know what they're doing. Like they're completely lost people.
yeah,
And they had built such a big following due to COVID. They built such a big following. But this is like, with every system, you're gonna look at the results, right?
yeah.
Well, for the last 8 to 10 years, has any of these guys improved? No.
No,
Somebody mentioned Andrew Tate in the comment section. Okay, you take Andrew
biggest
Tate for
loser.
example. If Andrew Tate was mainstream, he would be worth more than that $100 million if he's even worth that.
Even I don't think it's worth that. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
and a lot of his money, and there's his rag pulled a lot of this money is money he's stolen from vulnerable men. That's
Also,
the
no,
whole point.
I will add to that. I will add to that before you continue, sir. Did you know that he made money from the same men he was claiming to help?
Yep, yep. That's where all the money came from. It came from vulnerable men. Your $10, your $20, every live stream, every clip. You know, the the other aspects of monetizing content, because he's an idiot, he got booted off all these platforms. So now the only ways he's kind of really made money nowadays is selling useless things to crazy men, and also these what do you call it? These online crypto schemes. That's how he rag pulls people through crypto schemes.
Yeah, yeah.
These are people with no talent. They're just loud. They are no talent. You saw him go do a boxing fight and you just got checked, bro.
Humbled. He
He
got
got
humbled.
humbled by just some regular dude, bro. So
Yeah,
these guys, like you may have pushback on some of the things that I'm saying, but I want to see results. And if I'm looking at, if you followed Andrew Tate and you're 25 years old, you're definitely not married. You're not responsible for shit. You're still sitting by yourself. You're not dating. You don't even have a woman. Andrew Tate can talk the way he talks because he can attract any kind of woman with his money, but not with his character, though.
yeah. They don't stay though.
Yeah, and they
They
don't
don't
stay.
stay. And you
So,
see, and no, 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 sir. You see, a lot of these guys, I always tell them something. You can get a woman, but do the women come to you? Do they like you? That's something a lot of men
yep,
don't understand. Does she like you though?
yep,
Does she like you? For me, I can never hate women because I can just be myself, average dude.
yep,
Women like me, and when I say do women like you, I don't always mean that in a romantic sense, because that's another thing. If all your transactions with women, if all your engagements with women is transactional, something is wrong, in my opinion.
yep. And these men, especially here in the West, are very transactional. You saw this Scala guy say, "Hey, I'm gonna buy these buddies' phones. I'm gonna do this." It's like they are always when they go abroad. They say, "Hey, I'm gonna bring you to America."
Crazy.
Like they start with offers without even a personal connection or some type of a conversation with the person.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And this is why I'm looking at the results. I'm like, okay, fine. You've done this red pill thing, like Inquisition. Okay, fine. You're very active in Austin Holloman's live streams. You've done the red pill thing. You like Kid Greatness. You like this guy Floyd. You follow these guys. They've entertained you all these years. I don't know you personally, sir, but ask yourself, for the 4 or 5 years that you've watched these guys, have there been any personal improvement to your life?
Yeah.
You are the only one that can answer that question. I can't answer it for you. If it has improved your life, keep going, right? But if the answer is no, that is an indication that maybe you found this channel. That might be an indication to look elsewhere.
Yeah. And I will just add to that, a lot of these guys are they're profiting off your misery too. And this applies to women too. But we focus on the men. These men know that there's a lot of angry men out there. There's
Yep.
a lot of miserable, insecure, like these passport bros. These are guys that they have deep down, they have some resentment towards women. So these
Yep.
guys know that if you want to get clicks, if you want to get views, if you want to get money, if you want to YouTube to pay some bills. Just start creating content that appeals to these guys, and you will blow up. I mean, Fresh and Fit hosted a live meetup with their audience. Do you think it was Chads and Tyrones that came to this?
No, fuck no.
No,
I can
no,
even predict what it is.
no. It's
Yep.
whatever is in your head. That's what it is.
Yep. I
Because
can oh,
because
I can predict what it is, yeah.
because no average, rational, healthy guys, they might watch it to laugh like I did, but ain't no way in hell am I believing what these guys are saying. Because even Myron, I believe, is the tall Sudanese guy, right? Even Myron, he doesn't even have experience with women.
No.
He got his first girlfriend recently, Angela. Yes, I think he got his first girlfriend, I think last year or something, who was transactional. So this is the guy who's giving other young men advice about women. Make that make sense.
No, no, no. Like I've been, because I after I started creating this content, when something is around you, you don't really observe well. But I've become very observant. I'm looking at people. So this weekend we had that party for the baby girl, and all my friends who came had rings on. All of them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All of them. If I look at them, if I take one or two of them and I classify them based on what the Western man thinks they are supposed to do, there's no way they'll qualify for the spouses they currently have. I was just looking around my friends' relationship dynamics and I'm like, but the one thing they have in common is they're all great dads,
yeah,
they're all hands on dads, they're very intentional people, and they're all go getters
yeah.
across the board. This is how we become friends. Little, bro, essentially, of the 50 plus people that I know around me in the Dallas area, all Africans from different African countries,
Mhm.
they are all married.
Mm.
All of them are married. So you're 43 years old with 4 children and you're leaving the guy. So I see why our American friends have some type of insecurities when it comes to their women. I understand that. I'm not here to say that they got this A-class women, but where there's an action, there's a reaction, right?
Mhm.
So both, I think the men are flawed, but the women are also flawed. So it's very hard to get them to come into a relationship. But what you can control as a man is if you get your fundamentals right, you're going to be able to select better. There
Absolutely,
are Western women that are also going to be very hard to find, but it's still very possible to find,
absolutely. No, I
you
agree
know.
with you. I
And if
agree.
you have to look overseas, there's nothing wrong with that. But looking overseas doesn't mean you should do what the other guys are doing. And looking overseas also means don't go to countries like Ecuador, Colombia, Thailand. These are whore destinations. You're not going to find a wife. That's all I'm saying. Like they are whore destinations. You're not going to find a wife in these places. Ukraine, all these mail order bride locations. They're going to come to the US and leave your ass. A lot of them are not really cultured like that. They put on a face that they're cultured, but they are more even westernized than you think, even if they live in a foreign country. I saw one guy say, oh, look at this girl, she's braided her hair in Thailand, she has a booty like a black girl. No, that's a westerner, bro. Even though she's living in Thailand, she's watched enough Western media to behave like a westerner. So girls like that, when they come here, they're still individualistic. They may cook or clean, but cook or clean should not be the standard for you to look for a relationship. You should be looking at a much bigger picture than just how they cook and how they clean.
It's moving along. So I'm seeing this guy in the comment section, Inquisition. I mean, he has been coming. I think it's just anti whatever we talk about. But listen, let's say African women are combative. It's in their blood. They are warriors. Runners of Kingdom. I mean, yeah, sure. We've had
But
African women.
not the ones that I've not had any combativeness with the
Me
ones that
too.
I've dealt with,
Me
bro.
too.
I've never had it. There will be if you are feminine, that's what I'm saying. Like that's your test of masculinity. They
Yeah.
will do that to you if you're a weak man.
Yeah, and I'll put it this way as well, right? It's also, and this goes back to even to us here in the West, because I think yes, women in the West have their flaws. That is known. But so do the men. Everybody has their flaws. But I think the men also need to take accountability for their actions. And this is something I don't see the men say. Because I always say to them, especially these red pill guys, it cannot always be the woman's fault. You understand what I mean? Like it's very easy to say, oh, modern women, oh, women these days, oh, feminism. And they always like to talk down on feminism. And I say feminism by itself is not a bad thing. It absolutely is not. Because if you have a daughter, your daughter has the chance, in my opinion, to have a life. I mean, goddamn, guys, feminism is not an issue. She can have access to school. She can have access to things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was not available to her in the past. That is a good thing. But if you, as a man, say you cannot have success in dating because of feminism, then that is wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That is absolutely
If I
wrong.
have to put a feminism meter on my wife, I think she would fit the typical
Yes,
description of a feminist. She went to college,
absolutely.
she went to grad school, she passed the bar exam, she's working in a male-dominated law firm,
Yeah,
but she comes home and she cooks and cleans.
yeah,
And I also cook and clean. That's a relationship dynamic that people don't want to talk about today.
yeah,
You're gonna have to help your spouse, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to help your spouse. If you get into a modern relationship nowadays and you think that all you gotta do is just go make the money and come home, your wife also has to go make the money and come home, and then she has to still do housework. She's gonna get burnt out within 4 years of the relationship. She's gonna divorce you because you really add no extra value to her. This is a conversation men are not wanting to have. I am giving these men a practical experience of how I've had this work for 12 years,
yeah,
13 altogether now, since we've gone past November. So, because I kind of lose count as I go. I've been with the same woman now 13 years. And there's nothing she does today that she hasn't done in over 13 years. There's no new stuff, but there is new growth. I see growth in certain areas, especially career-wise, her thought process, the amount of books she reads. People stop educating themselves too. When you're in a marriage, you have to always educate yourself. You got to learn more. Read some books. You know, if you are not gonna do it at a speed level like I do about 2 to 3 a week. Some of them are repeated because I like when I give it a second look. That's when it kind of sticks. So I'll go back if I really enjoy a book. I'll go back to it. But like share books, like the books you read. If it's very interesting, my wife does that a lot. If she reads a book that she really likes, she will share it with me on Audible and say, "Hey, check this book out," right? And then I'll read it, and it helps you out. It gives a different dimension to your relationship as you grow. Stop making this conversation about traditional values in 2025 and 2026. Those roles are gone. It's like everything that we've done in civilization. When old times pass, they've passed. It's like telling me to keep playing Game Boy while you play PS5, bro. We're past 2D images now. We are now three-dimensional,
yeah,
you know? So that is how relationships are going to be. You got to craft it based on our modern structure. And I feel like men are stuck in our old ways. We don't want to do anything. Oh, changing your daughter's diaper is feminine. Jeez, really? If you don't change your daughter's diaper, who's going to change it? When your wife is at work and your daughter is at home with you, you're going to wait for your wife to get home to change it? That's not practical, fellas.
yeah,
If you want a relationship to work, you got to get first-hand stories from us that are doing it on a daily basis. These guys that are telling you about relationships, I'm not saying I have all the answers, but they don't have any responsibilities. Maron's got no responsibilities. He's got no kids. He doesn't have to care about the cost of a daycare. He's never even bought a child's clothes. Heck, his Christmas shopping is a bunch of sneakers and toys for himself. I got no Christmas present, bro. I haven't had one probably in the last 3 years. Welcome to being a fucking man and being a grown up. I made sure the kids have theirs, the wife has hers, and I said, I'm not interested. I'll just buy myself whatever at whatever time. It doesn't have to be the exact day. And it's not a money issue. It's just an interest issue. I'd rather just give it to the kids, bro. It's their moment. So we have to come out and tell our stories so that guys know that, hey, we're not gonna get our daddy's generation of relationships. That ship has sailed, bro. It's no longer there. If we don't realize that, No woman is gonna want to be in a relationship with us because they're gonna say it's not beneficial to them. They go out there and make their own money anyway. Why should they go out there, make money, come home, cook and clean, and give you punani on top of it, bro?
That
And
is
you
what
make your money and you still wanted to pay 50% of the bills. It doesn't work, man. Like, what are we talking about?
I
Let
think.
me finish your thought and I'll bring Dana in.
Yeah, yeah. I think what's happening here is this. I agree with you 1,000%. I think what's happening here is that a lot of the men that cannot have success with dating anyway are just looking for reasons to just give excuses. I date in the West. I have no problem dating in the West, Nana. Average men do well in dating as well. Look, I'm not saying this to disrespect women. Women are not complicated. Women are not tough to get. I see men talking all the time. Oh, women are tough. It's not hard, bro. That's why sometimes I stick up for the women. When I hear some of these men talk about women, you think she's coming from Mars or from Jupiter. Women are regular people just like you and I. Are there some women out there that are crazy? Yes. Just like we have men that are crazy too. But most women are just regular people. Brush
Yeah.
your teeth, wash your yash, don't stink, groom yourself well, have a job, be a decent human being, and I guarantee you're gonna have a girl.
Yeah.
It's not rocket science. It's not rocket science, bro. But I let you.
Inquisition is saying, see, this is one of the biggest stereotypes out there. African dudes say they respect women because they are allowed to beat them. Nobody allows men to beat their women. Like I said, my dad passed at 72 years old. The 30 some years that I was around my dad, he never hit my mom. Never did. I've been with the same woman for 13 years, and I look right in the camera. I've never hit my wife.
Notice
Never.
that they always go to violence. These guys are weird, man.
Never. None of my friends would do that. It's like the utmost disrespect. That is what I'm saying. Like, they look at it. Can an African man get away with that in Africa? Yeah, of course the laws are laxed. But a lot of the guys don't do that. It's not practical. You only see that in the villages where these men are not educated. And most of the times, they're just, if it's not farming season, they're just drunks. So those people don't have the right moral compass. But in the cities or even in the smaller towns, men are not going there beating their women. They might be polygamous. They might have other girlfriends and stuff, which I don't support. But they're not over there beating on women. Most men in Africa like to just hang out with their friends.
Yeah. I feel
They
like
just they just hang out at the bar with their friends. That's all they do. That's what the women complain about.
yeah.
But I never see them complain about a guy beating their wives. Where are they getting all these things from, bro?
I feel like I'm gonna, as an African man, I need to also debunk that. As I'm guessing is Black American or something, because I don't think African men are gonna say that. I lived in the cities since 1995 when I was born in Nigeria, and I was born in Lagos State. Then I moved to Abuja. I lived in Akwa Ibom State. I lived with uncles in the cities. I lived with my parents. The only time that maybe I saw a man beat his wife in the city was when I was living in the diplomatic quarters with my mom. And this guy, like you said, he was a drunk. He was a successful man, but he was a drunk. He was drunk and polygamous, and he was a weird guy anyway. But this was not the norm of middle class, upper class Africans.
Right.
It's not the norm. But these guys, they like I said, they see one story, they hold on to it, and that's it. But anyway,
Yeah, yeah. And
I'll
I'm gonna say, if you ever go to Africa, you found a wife and you're living there, you're thinking, hey, I heard you guys can beat your wife, so you end up beating your wife. You might get some street justice, and it won't be pretty. So it's not. Don't take what the internet says and think that that's how people live their lives there. It's not true at all.